Hello and welcome to our special program on stopping fraud in its tracks, how network APIs are changing the game. I'm Guy Daniels, and with US bank fraud expected to surge to over $4 billion by 2029, the stakes for prevention have never been higher. Leading telcos Verizon, AT&T and T-Mobile are pioneering game-changing solutions through network APIs. New capabilities like SIM swap detection and silent authentication are revolutionizing fraud prevention, strengthening security without adding friction for users. And joining me now to discuss how telecoms and financial services are joining forces to combat this growing threat are Denis Wukovits, who is Director Network API and Platforms at Verizon, Andy Stegner, who is Product Manager Network APIs at AT&T, Matthew George, VP Software and AI Technology Enablement at T-Mobile, and Mikko Java, CTO Network Monetization Platform Business Unit at Nokia. Hello everyone, thank you so much for taking part in our program today. Mikko, let me come to you first because I'd like to ask you, how are CSPs and API aggregators like Nokia's Network as Code platform collaborating to deliver APIs such as SIM swap and device swap to financial institutions, enabling real-time fraud detection?
Great question. We are collaborating, of course, bringing the network capabilities, the network APIs that enable silent authentication, reduction of fraud, and so forth into a single platform, single conduit, and single channel. And then what that enables the simplification of the use of these capabilities and integration of those into the application by application developers. So we in Nokia provide a platform which integrates the network APIs from the service providers and then provide them as single API that they can integrate then to the application. And then the simplification goes further, not only for the integration of these APIs into the application, but it also goes then to the simplification and end user journeys through silent authentication and reduction of fraud. So they makes the end user journeys more secure and simple. And the nice thing is it is all real as well. So we are going to demonstrate today how the network APIs enhance and secure end user flow and do that across exactly the same way across multiple networks in the demo.
Thanks very much, Mikko. Well, this demo you mentioned, is this a demo on real-life networks?
Yeah, it is a demo definitely on real-life networks. We have integrated Nokia's Network as Code platform with T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T's network APIs. And then we have an application, end user application, which runs on the end users and consumer devices. And that showcases how the APIs are used from all of these networks to secure and enhance the end user flows in banking applications. So very much real network integrated demo that you'll see.
Great. Well, in that case, let's look at the demo now. And Mikko is going to take us through the demonstration, which highlights the security measures of a banking application that's using network APIs as part of the authentication flow.
We have three phones here alongside of each other. One from Verizon on the left, then T-Mobile and AT&T. And then we can see also My Bank, which is the application being used on all of these phones. It's monitoring for the Verizon phone. We'll go through a sequence where there will be first successful logging with the number, and then we'll change the number for each of the service provider, and then showcase where there's an unsuccessful logging happening. And these are all driven by network APIs coming from the respective service provider networks. Things will move fast. The responses from the APIs are very fast, so pay attention. We'll start now. The login sequence is first. So here each of the individual subscribers are logging into their application, and the response is really fast, making the authentications really seamless, and two-factor silent authentication happens just there in the background. And there we can see also response statuses and how did the authentication go with the number verification example is shown on the MyBank monitoring application. Now this follows then a second logging attempt where there is a number which has some issues. Either it's not verified number, or there is a recent SIM swap related to that number, and we can see then that again the response is very fast from the network APIs, but that triggers a secondary authentication because some of the checks didn't fail, were not valid, for example, for SIM swap or number verification. Now, all these applications, they were utilizing single API from Network as Code, which are aggregated from the service providers and then baseline. And we can see here the various APIs which are available for developers to integrate for number verification, KYC match, SIM swap, and so forth. And here we can see also then the resulting API calls and low latency communicating with the networks for the respective calls that were just now made. Thank you.
Thanks, Mikko. Fascinating demonstration there of what can be achieved with network APIs. Well, let's continue our discussion and talk now with our other guests. Andy, if I can come to you, with US bank fraud projected to rise from $2.5 billion in 2025 to about $4.1 billion in 2029, how are CSPs leveraging APIs like KYC matching number verification to strengthen authentication without adding user friction?
Yeah, Guy, that's a great question. So I think if we asked many financial institutions today, how do you authenticate your users? The majority of them are going to say one of two things: email one-time passcodes or SMS one-time passcodes. And we as carriers, although we believe that that does work and we have a part to play, technology is evolving and network APIs are here. And we do believe that APIs like KYC match, SIM swap, and number verification all really help deliver a more seamless and secure experience that leverages the carrier's networks and leverages us as essentially a single source of truth for those mobile application developers. And so the last thing I'll mention is one of the beauties of network APIs is it's not as susceptible to social engineering that we see today with the traditional one-time passcodes. There's a reason why you see do not share this code with anyone, because banks are very well aware that there are many social engineering scams that are happening today. So us as carriers, we are really looking to help those industries that really want to provide a secure and seamless experience for their authentication of their users through these network APIs that we're planning to offer.
And Dennis, how do CSPs ensure that APIs deliver meaningful fraud prevention insights whilst also safeguarding user privacy?
That's a good question. I mean, on top of privacy that we all take very seriously, we're making sure that the APIs are working and performing the way they should, interacting with the consumers as they should, and providing the results to the end developer and enterprise that would like to use the systems as they should. So again, privacy is very important, and making sure that we are taking that very seriously, making sure that our what we are providing is exactly what the user is expecting, and that our notification to the user is appropriate.
Good to hear, Dennis. Thank you very much. And Mikko, let's come across to you again, because I'd love to know what Nokia's role is in enabling ecosystem-wide standardization here.
Yeah. So Nokia's role enabling ecosystem is two phases. We have two parts into it. One of the things is that we are trying to connect to the supply of the network APIs and make that supply commonly available then on the demand side. So we're growing both the supply side ecosystem for the APIs. That means partnerships with service providers, and then we'll connect them to demand. This means application developers, enterprises, banks, financial institutions, and others as customers. And of course, to make the network API concept fly and provide value, we need to build the ecosystem both on the supply and demand side. Now, underpinning this effort of building commonality and building the ecosystem, there are also standards or initiatives like the Camera project for providing common definitions and understanding of what the APIs, network APIs should be. And then, of course, there's the GSMA Open Gateway Framework as well, which more describes the model. But it all brings into building, connecting to the supply of the APIs, making that commonly available then for the demand side. And that's how we can then, as an ecosystem, create value on network APIs.
Great. Thanks, Mikko, for that clarification. Matthew, let's go into a little more depth here. I'd like to ask you what steps have been taken to accelerate the adoption of silent authentication APIs across both the financial and merchant ecosystem, and also how these align with regulatory guidelines for high-value transactions.
Yeah, hi, Guy. Thanks. We have a unique position here at T-Mobile where we actually run a merchant ecosystem ourselves. Like, we have customers who transact with us. And what's been really great is for us to actually show silent authentication in play in our flagship T-Life app. So today, when a T-Mobile customer interacts with us digitally via the T-Life app, we leverage silent authentication. And it's been obviously a great security aspect to the way they transact. But more importantly, it's removed friction from the transaction. So like our ability to increase digital adoption, because customers don't have to remember passwords, and they can still feel secure and transact seamlessly. It's been a great proof point. And I think there's no better way than to start a conversation by saying, hey, it works for us and it works for us at scale. And we've got the evidence for it. And as far as like the regulatory environment, I'm not a lawyer, but in general, like the understanding that we have is that as long as we are doing things for the benefit of the customer, to prevent fraud on their behalf, to watch out for them and their security, this sort of information sharing and leveraging network credentials for authentication is fair game, and it's in the best interest of our customers.
Great, Matthew. Thanks for that. And a question I'd like to ask to all of you here is that, given that all three major US carriers are participating in this session today, it's fair to assume there's strong market demand for these capabilities we're talking about. So how are you collaborating with not just the ecosystem, but with each other in accelerating this demand and supply and helping to grow the market together? Andy, can I come across to you first for your comments?
Yeah, I think having all of us on this call or this broadcast right now is a testament in and of itself, right? We're part of the things that we're doing as a industry is working together to educate not just the application developers and our enterprise customers, but there's also going to be a need to educate our consumer customers that ultimately benefit from these APIs when they're using applications from a day-to-day standpoint. So I think from an industry standpoint and a US carrier standpoint, we're really working closely with each other to ensure that the message about the benefits to both our enterprise customers and our consumer customers are well documented and well understood.
Great, thanks very much, Andy. And Dennis, I'll come across to you. Words on this collaboration effort?
Very similar to what Andy said. We're on this together now, and we're shoulder to shoulder in educating the industry. I think the big difference is conveying the message that we are protecting our users, and we're doing it in a way that is true verification, not just validation. And I think the more we continue to get the message out that the telcos are here, we are the source of truth for the data, Everyone's using their devices. We should be the one validating, and we're assisting the market in adopting it. I think it's hard. It's hard to get through to all the industries, but we're making significant progress in the demand side and educating them on the value of silent network authentication, SIM swap, and others.
Great, that's a real positive, Dennis. Thank you. And Matthew, I'll come across to you. You know, getting all working together and working with the industry. Thoughts on how this is going?
You know, the collaboration's been at an all-time high, right? Like that's a great plus right now. Like you know, all of us have individually been working with a lot of these financial institutions in the past. There's been various older forms of APIs that people have consumed for fraud prevention and such. But the difference now is, you know, the uniformity and the standardization of implementation, which actually eases, you know, the friction for our customers and partners to integrate with us. And I think that's been the key. You know, all of us sort of singing off the same you know, playlist, if you will, and talking the same talk track. So
Really good to hear, Matthew. Thanks very much indeed for that. And Miko, you obviously have a different perspective on this, but any thoughts from yourself on this collaboration?
Well, as everybody said, since we are here, there's a traction on the collaboration, and we are really happy how it's actually playing out. So we have a very large and growing ecosystem of service provider partners and then demand customers on our network as code platform and in the ecosystem. So there's a great momentum. There's of course great promise, and of course we are also looking into what we're going to do after solving the problem for silent authentication and fraud reduction with the network APIs, and then what happens next with the network APIs.
We're always moving forward, Miko. Thanks very much, everyone. Dennis, I'd like to come back to you because I love to talk a little bit more about an update, please, on the status of network APIs and the challenges you see to adoption. And maybe if you can give us some examples of early wins, maybe with banking customers.
Yeah, we're making really good progress, and I think the best advantage we have is that everyone's putting the effort into it. It's with telcos, as everyone knows, it takes time. We're very careful with our information. We're careful with our users, but we're all driving to provide the most value and protection to our consumers. And I feel with Kamara and the unified efforts that we have to take these products to market, are driving the shift from is this an idea to these are valuable assets that we can share with our consumers and potential business partners. Wins in the financial industry, I think authentication is the first big win. We are, as Andy spoke about and Matt did too, we're starting to see the education rise to understand that moving away from multiple friction points to a unified silent authentication where we're actually validating somebody to the device, making sure that device hasn't changed in any way, and the account is accurate, has become digestible from the banking industry. So you're going to see significant tailwinds and integrations for new ways of authentication that are going to protect consumers as well as create a better use case and user flow. And that's exciting.
Absolutely is. Dennis, thank you very much. And Andy and Matthew, I'm going to ask the same question to the two of you as I did with Dennis there. Let me ask Andy this first. You know, how do you see the current landscape at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's as Dennis alluded, and Matthew has mentioned it as well. I think it's a bit fragmented right now. There's numerous ways to authenticate, but all of those authentication methods require some form of user interaction that introduces friction. And I think where I'm seeing this going is a more seamless and frictionless experience that also provides more security for our customers. I think that is the most important part of where I see this going, is we are looking at technological solutions that provide a more robust, secure experience. And I'm encouraged by, as Dennis mentioned, we're now at a point where these are real. It's no longer we're talking about it, but they are real and tangible. And we're just excited to get these into the hands of our enterprise banking customers.
Yeah, really good point, Andy. These are real. And Matthew, I'll come across to you as well and ask you, how you're seeing the current landscape.
Yeah, I mean, there's a silver lining to all this fragmentation, and the silver lining is that we are talking to all of these customers already, right? It's just in a fragmented, slightly friction heavy ways. But so, the door's already open, the conversations are already happening, they're already partners. So now we have an opportunity to say, hey, we've got something better that's actually going to be not just better for you as a customer of ours to integrate with, but ultimately better for the consumer in the US market. That aside, the other piece that I want to maybe touch on is, the ongoing possibility of additional APIs in this network domain. As all three of us carriers continue to ramp up our 5G deployments and standalone networks, the host of possibilities that come about, with slicing and other capabilities with 5G, it not just adds a level of security, but then it also adds bespoke capabilities that cater to our customers' needs. So I think the runway is long, and the opportunities are just we're just scratching the surface is how I'd put it.
Yeah, and that's a really important point as well. Thanks very much, Matthew. Miko, I'm going to come across to you and ask that question about AI, because I'm going to have to ask about AI and how we think AI technology, whether that's Gen AI or Agentic AI, will integrate with network APIs. A lot of discussion on this at the moment, and how it will integrate to proactively detect and prevent SIM swap fraud in mobile banking authentication systems.
Yeah, I think AI will drive a lot of transformation in respect to APIs, and this applies to Gen AI and Agentic AI as well. But so first of all, AI changes quite a bit how the integration into the applications with the APIs are done. So first of all, Gen AI tools make the integration generally much more faster, and it can be done almost automatically. And then tools like MCP enable then the APIs used as tools for agents. And again, the integration is very seamless or automated after that. So it will change how APIs will be integrated, how they are used, and then how they are consumed. And specifically, if you're looking into the area of fraud prevention, we are already testing and developing agents which could be monitoring and providing fraud signals, and provide that way high value for customers using those signals, which could be the banking and financial institution, as well as, again, enhancing the security of the end user. So really the AI developments, they are accelerating actually the use of the APIs, the adoption of the APIs, and then how value can be created on top of APIs. And there's been a lot of questions, of course, also overall, that will agents and Gen AI kill the APIs? And we don't think that's happening. Of course, as I mentioned, they will change how APIs are used, and actually eventually what they are as well. But the APIs really keep the tools and capabilities available for AI agents and Gen AI to use.
Yeah, Miko, this is a really interesting area. Thanks very much for that. And Matthew, I'm going to ask you the same question as with Miko there. How do you see AI technology integrating with network APIs to proactively detect and prevent SIM swap fraud?
Yeah, I think the biggest value, or the most obvious value, is in the detection space, right? Like when we're talking about hundreds of millions of customers, and and billions of transactions that occur on a network on a daily basis, being able to pull out that needle in the haystack and detect, hey, that transaction looks a little fishy, right? That is something that's perfect for machine learning and AI. So the detection capabilities really improve with AI. But the other piece that I'm kind of excited about in this AI domain for us as carriers is this idea of a future world where agents are acting on behalf of our customers. And how do you assure and authenticate those agents? How do you ensure that risk, scores and risk profiles for those agents are adequately monitored and alerted on? And I think we have a unique capability as network providers to be this trusted security provider for our customers, not just for themselves, but then for the agents that are acting on their behalf. So I think that's a whole nother area of possibility there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Nicely said. Thank you, Matthew. And Dennis, let me come across to you next and ask you, what does the future look like? And we heard from Matthew and Miko about AI, but what are the most significant opportunities, challenges, and technologies to watch out for?
Oh, it's exciting. I think we're in a position now where as we're starting to expose signals from the carriers, there's a wild amount of and wide range of use cases where the signals can be brought to the market to enable better use cases, delight a customer, and protect a customer. I think you're going to see waterfall-based technology based upon ranking of a transaction in the banking industry. So if it's an authentication, it might use 1, 2, 3 APIs. If it's a high-value transaction, you may see a bundle of APIs that are waterfall down to protect someone based upon the use case. And then on top of that, we have a wealth of data as the source of truth carriers. So being able to be able to provide enhanced tools for to better protect consumers. So making sure that the person who's performing the transaction is actually where they say they are, doing the thing they are asking to do, and then allowing the institution to be able to validate that information is just the tip of the iceberg. And then on top of that, we're going to be moving into being able to have levers on the network to be able to ask for permission to have greater performance or bandwidth on the network, and giving more controls to the consumer. So sky's the limit on where we can take our signals, and I look forward to optimizing and reducing friction in user experiences moving forward.
Yeah, as you said, Dennis, it is exciting. Andy, what's your view of the future, the direction, and what technologies we should be looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, similar to Dennis's comments, I think that we're going to continue to see an evolution of network APIs that are focused around anti-fraud and identity management. I think as that evolves, you'll see additional technologies. As Dennis mentioned, the carriers can be thought of as the single source of truth. So you might see APIs that focus around, hey, what is my device connectivity status so that a entertainment company can deliver a better bit rate and stream to my mobile device to ensure that I have a seamless video experience. And then the application as well ensures that their customers using their apps are happy with that usage. And so I think the use cases will evolve. So short term, I think we'll continue to focus on anti-fraud. There is a very, very clear and inherent benefit for our customers. And then from there, I think some of it will be driven primarily by what developers and what these application enterprises want from carriers, and what can we deliver while still maintaining a secure and private experience for our customers. I think privacy is really the key here. And so that's going to be a big driver, I think, of where the evolution of these APIs go, is putting that privacy and that consent in the customer's hands to determine what they feel comfortable with, in return for a better or more seamless user experience in a mobile application.
Thanks very much, Andy. It's obvious we've come a long way, but there's still an awful lot to look forward to. We must leave it there for now, though. Thank you all very much indeed for taking part in our discussion. If you'd like further information on the topics covered in this discussion, then please do follow the links in the text below this video. For now, though, from all the team here, thank you so much for watching and goodbye.